The Tremors of Hope. Chapter 1. The Ground Beneath. In the heart of the bustling city, life pulsed with an unending rhythm. Among the city's many inhabitants were John, a single father, and his teenage daughter, Emily. Their apartment, nestled in one of the city's numerous high-rises, was a sanctuary amidst the urban chaos. John, a hard-working accountant, spent his days lost in numbers, while Emily, a high school sophomore, navigated the turbulent seas of adolescence. Their interactions were often brief, limited to hurried breakfasts and late-night dinners. The emotional chasm between them seemed to widen with each passing day, mirroring the physical distance that their busy lives imposed. On that fateful day, the city's rhythm was brutally interrupted. Without warning, the ground beneath them roared to life, shaking the city to its core. Buildings swayed like trees in a storm, and the city's unending noise was drowned out by the terrifying sound of the earth's fury. Their high-rise apartment shuddered violently, the floor beneath them shifting and buckling. With a deafening crash, their sanctuary collapsed around them, plunging them into darkness. As the tremors subsided, John and Emily found themselves trapped in the wreckage of their home. Their world, much like the city around them, was in ruins. The path to survival was treacherous and uncertain, but it was a journey they had to undertake together. Chapter 2. Shattered Walls. In the aftermath of the earthquake, John and Emily found themselves in a world turned upside down. Their once familiar apartment was now a labyrinth of debris and darkness. The air was thick with dust, and the only sound was the ominous creaking of strained metal and crumbling concrete. John, despite his fear, knew he had to stay strong for Emily. He reached out in the darkness, his hand finding hers. Their fingers intertwined, a silent promise of mutual support and determination. They began to navigate through the wreckage, guided by the faint glow of John's phone. Each step was a test of courage as they moved over unstable ground, the threat of further collapse looming over them. As they journeyed through their shattered home, they also began to traverse the emotional debris between them. The crisis had stripped away the superficialities of their daily lives, revealing the raw, unspoken affection underneath. In the face of adversity, their strained relationship began to mend, the first cracks of understanding appearing in the walls that had separated them. Their progress was slow and fraught with danger, but every obstacle they overcame brought them closer to escape and to each other. By the end of their second day in the ruins, they had managed to reach the stairwell, a beacon of hope amidst the devastation. Chapter 3. Echoes of the Past. Trapped within the confines of their ruined apartment building, John and Emily found themselves with nothing but time. As they rested in the relative safety of the stairwell, waiting for the dust to settle and their strength to return, they began to talk. John spoke of Emily's mother, of their shared dreams and the love that had once bound them together. He spoke of her laughter, her spirit, and the illness that had taken her away too soon. He shared his struggle to raise Emily alone, his fear of failing her, and his regret for the emotional distance that had grown between them. Emily, in turn, shared her own fears and frustrations. She spoke of the loneliness she felt, of the pressure of growing up without a mother, and the resentment she harbored for the father, who seemed too busy to notice her struggles. Their conversation was a catharsis, a release of pent-up emotions that had been buried under the weight of their daily lives. It was painful, but necessary. For the first time in years, they truly saw each other, not as distant figures sharing a home, but as family, bound by love and loss. As they shared their stories, their hopes, and their regrets, they found their resolve strengthening. They were not just survivors of an earthquake, they were a father and a daughter, rediscovering their bond amidst the rubble of their past. Chapter 4. A Crack of Light. With renewed determination, John and Emily resumed their journey. The stairwell, once a symbol of their daily routine, had become a treacherous path towards survival. Each step was a victory, each floor a milestone. As they descended, they encountered remnants of their neighbors' lives, now reduced to rubble. A child's toy, a shattered picture frame, a book with its pages fluttering in the breeze that filtered through the cracks. Each artifact was a stark reminder of the life that had existed before the earthquake, and the lives that had been irrevocably changed. Their progress was slow, but steady. With each passing hour, they grew closer to their goal. Their shared ordeal had forged a bond stronger than any they had experienced before. They were no longer just father and daughter, they were a team, united by a common goal. On the third day, they reached the ground floor. The sight that greeted them was one of utter devastation. But amidst the ruins, they saw a crack of light, their way out. It was a small, narrow opening, barely enough for one person to squeeze through, but it was their only hope. With a shared look of determination, they approached the opening. It was a daunting task, but they were ready. They had come this far, and they were not about to give up now. Chapter 5. Tremors of Hope. With a deep breath, John squeezed through the narrow opening, Emily close behind him. Emerging from the darkness, they were greeted by the harsh light of a city transformed. Buildings that once touched the sky were now broken and bent, their proud structures humbled by the might of nature. Yet, amidst the devastation, there was life. Rescue teams moved through the wreckage, their fluorescent vests a stark contrast against the gray ruins. The sound of sirens echoed in the distance, a symphony of hope in the face of despair. John and Emily were found by a rescue team, their emergence from the wreckage a beacon of hope for others still trapped. As they were led away from the ruins of their home, they looked back one last time. Their world had changed, but so had they. In the days that followed, they faced the reality of their new life. Their home was gone, their city was scarred, but their spirit was unbroken. They found a new home, a small apartment in a part of the city that had been spared the worst of the earthquake. It was a fresh start, a chance to rebuild not just their lives, but their relationship. The earthquake had taken much from them, but it had also given them something. In their struggle for survival, they had found each other again. They were survivors, a father and daughter bound by love, resilience, and the tremors of hope.